So it's interesting to see, you know, Netflix to me has taken the most like stance on like original, like you're seeing, like we've talked about this before too, like your favorite shows are getting pushed out, you know, your Friends, your Family Guys, your whatever, and original content is really starting to overload that platform. They spent, God, I don't remember, but it was billions on the original content that they're having, and it's again to our point. You can literally scroll through that thing all night and not find a movie because there's just so much. You can find there could be 30 good movies, but But yeah, like we said, you know, these platforms, everybody's doing it. I think T-Mobile's done it now too. Like everyone's doing it, and it's interesting. We'll see who's the best. You know, I do the Netflix, HBO, so I pay for too much cable stuff, but. We'll see. We'll see how Disney matches up with them.
The interesting thing I thought about this was that Apple's usually the last on the scene, but they're usually the best at it. And with this, that we've got Apple TV, Amazon Alexa's kind of taken over. I don't know where they're really finding themselves in that market space. Because now we've got Disney that's kind of owning everything we make is something that we've produced.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Disney puts out there. Yeah, who they partner.
A company account.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll prove
so
it.
we just do our sponsored ad.
Yes.
We've got our first.
Yes. We're not allowed to drink it. We're allowed to look at it.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, Ashley probably has. This is I think I smelled your swell bottle from across the hallway. Yeah. But we've got our Gravani Prosecco, which can be purchased at Giancarlo's Sicilian Pizzeria and Steakhouse. There's the Giancarlo's logo.
I'm dehydrated, so I should really get rolling on
get
this.
that started.
I'm kidding, I will not. I will not.
So we'll hopefully get some sponsors and ads on here. It's one of our first, but the more followers, the more we can have some fun. Again, you mentioned Amazon, so we may as well just keep talking about it. We're just gonna
with this guy, so.
Yeah. So go ahead. You want to lead the way? Do you want me?
Just to connect it to something, I think we've all said something to Alexa, and she either doesn't know what we're talking about, or she answers with something entirely just ridiculous. So I will ask Alexa, if you come over to my house, when Alexa first came out, I invited my parents over, and I was like, watch this. And I would ask Alexa to tell a joke, and she would tell a joke, and you can play Jeopardy with her. I do all the nerdy stuff with Alexa. I ask for the weather. I play nature sounds so I can fall asleep. So
you can use it for anything. I know.
What is your primary use case for Alexa?
Ooh, man, music, which is a boring answer. Yeah. But I feel like I don't like to be in a room that's silent, so I usually like to have some sort of music on, depending on the mood. My music can go from anything to anything. We won't get into
real bangers to
yeah, but on a more peculiar request, I don't know. She's got fun games. There's a lot.
You can ask her to pull your finger.
Seriously, there's a good movie quote game that I just recently discovered. She'll play you a movie clip from, I mean, it could be from anything that you might not have a clue of to like your most modern movies, and you are to guess it. You know, it's an out of 5 answer scheme, and it's the more you dig into Alexa, the more you discover. Like you can play heads up on it. There's a lot of fun stuff.
So if you are lonely, get an Alexa. You'll never be lonely again.
Seriously.
How this connects to kind of what we wanted to talk about today was. Alexa or Amazon in general is using these analytics of what people are asking and the tone that they're asking things in to understand how people are using Alexa, and then it's also giving them triggers or clues as to the behaviors of the user. So if I am constantly yelling at Alexa like, Alexa, what's the weather? Or like, I'm calling her explicit names, and if you do call her explicit names, sometimes she just like beeps out and doesn't answer you. Which is great because she shouldn't, and I think it would just get you more riled up. But they're using those analytics to decide if people are in difficult relationships, if people are
a particular mood when they're requesting something, the type of like subject that they're requesting. It essentially came out. You know, there's the jokes that like if you have an Alexa or an Amazon Echo, whatever you refer to it as, it's essentially a wiretap in your house. Essentially.
I just accepted it.
Yeah, the joke's out there. It's understood. It's like, all right, well, hopefully I don't have anything too bad for them to come chasing. But it's just that joke. It's like if you want to be monitored, you have to understand it. You have an Alexa in your house that people
hears
are going to listen. So, the news came out that, and it's not that we didn't know it or expect it, but that they take recordings and use it, as sampling for future, fixes and things like that. I've read about particular people getting, in jail, or like there's been stories of, I shouldn't quote myself on that, but there's been stories where people actually gotten in trouble. Like there's always like the suspicion, can they hear me saying this, and would I get in trouble? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a matter of, are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable of having one of these things in your house? Like, does the reward outweigh, your
that risk?
Sort of. Yeah. I wouldn't even call it a risk. I'd call it like a sort of, that's a feeling of tension or something of that sort. Because you can't think like legally. Like if someone came banging on your door, they'd say like, "Hey, we heard you on your Alexa do this."
Yeah.
Be like,
listening to you for the past 48 hours.
Are you allowed to do that?
Right.
And there's probably loopholes and
But I do think it does have some use cases. If Alexa was listening and whenever somebody yelled like help, like say somebody, instead of using like a life alert or something like that, or you've got somebody in the home and there's a medical emergency, or somebody's breaking in or something like that, and it just use those trigger words instead of always her name. You're not always thinking like, oh, I'll just tell Alexa to call 911. If you're in a state of emergency, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but I have to admit, that feature's got to be on it. Like, say, Alexa, do this, and it does that. There was a funny movie, or any of you have seen the movie Us. It was the most recent Keegan, what's his name? Either way, one of the guys from Key and Peele. That's gonna bug me. Either way. He made the movie Get Out, in his sophomore movie, Us, there was a scene where it wasn't the Amazon Echo. I think there were some legality things there, but it was what was to be seen as a version of that, and there was a murder scene happening in the movie the movie had some comedic relief to it. It wasn't just like your slasher horror film. There was definitely like lightness. So I recommend seeing it. But she says, whoever, which you would say Alexa, call the police, and then the thing ends up playing "F the Police" by Easy or whoever sings it, and it's a pretty funny scene. But like either way, that's one of the rewards of those things. Like we said, like I have to imagine if someone came into my house and I couldn't get to my cell phone, if I said Alexa, call the cops, like she finds out there's some way. I don't know anything about it, but I guarantee that is an accessibility, which is a big pro to having one of those things. There's security everywhere these days. You can't get away with anything anymore. It's just like you're filmed, you're monitored, you're this, you're that, everywhere you go. And you just have to be comfortable. You have to adjust to living in that type of an environment. If you can't, like if you have the urge to be bad, just I don't know, go take it out on one of those new rec rooms that they have. Those things are kind of cool too. Or just beat up whatever they have in there. We'll get into that.
Do you think it's some stress out?
No, but I was always trying to like pitch that as like a good date night idea. I was like,
let's just go
like break glass and hit a car with a bat for a day. Who knows? But
it's a great concept.
Yeah. So again, this week we kind of kept it casual and fun. We're gonna bring more, technical elements and products and email softwares and all that. But we really want to let everybody know that we're here to kind of talk about everything tech related. We're not just going to be the boring, nerdy tech people. We're going to kind of...
We're still finding our footing. What do we want the cadence to be? Who do we want to open? We learned that was Joe this week. Because I fumble over my words a little bit. So next week we'll bring it back. Do you want to close this week?
I'll close.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. See you guys. Thank you.
See you soon. Thanks. I'll just close it. Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Later.
That was great.